Part 2 of Women Protect Yourself. So I just made a video about simple things women can do to protect themselves if they're being robbed for things. And you should go check that video out if you want to hear those little things. I just want to add on a couple of techniques that I've learned being a smaller guy. And they're proficient. They're literally legit. From ancient days till now, you know? Now, it's called dirty boxing and war combat. You see, there's fighting, and then there's street fights. Get it? There's no fucking rules. A nigga will do whatever it takes. Now, men have been doing these things for a while and figured out a lot of easy ways to stop a man in his tracks immediately, no matter how big you are. You think you're tough. If a man gets touched in a certain area, there's areas on the body that can't be molded into strength. The ancient Chinese have many techniques on that. I'm not going to get too much into that. I don't want to scare you. But, that made me realize studying Bruce Lee and shit. Like, he always perfected the simple things, like, kick him in his balls and he'll drop like a stone. No matter how strong, well, some men will eat that, and, they're going to come at you and body slam you on the floor. So, that's like a warm-up for some men. And then, I learned from, I forgot, some karate technique. I think it's Karate Kid. He said, if a man can't stand, a man can't fight. So, I learned, like, shin kicks and the parts of a man's knee. See, a man's leg looks real strong because they're tough, but there's literally individual parts that you can strike and break that knee down. And then because of his own body weight, he's automatically slower now, and you can run and he can't chase you. See? So, if you can shin kick those shins, break it. Shit like that. I'm not suggesting a woman try that because, you might not have the kicking power. But women are known to have a lower body half, Your lower half is just as strong as my arms. So, as a woman, because you give childbirth, that's why God made you have those hips that spread apart and you have so much strength. And, so you better get on your Chung Li shit. And, then the old breather. A man can't breathe, a man can't fight. So you go to the throat. A man's Adam's apple cannot get strong. Now, if you do that, and you have too much punching power, you can take that man's life. So that's very debatable. But if you're a woman, most people don't care about crazy women that are trying to hurt little defenseless women. So when you damn near do that, I don't know how many people are going to give a fuck about that big-ass gorilla. But I will tell you the real repercussions of if you hit a man's Adam's apple too hard, he could choke to death. So, don't hit him with full strength. You don't need it. You need the strength of a woman to karate chop his throat real quick, and then he can't breathe. And he drops to his knees, choking, gasping for air. And then the last one. If a man, well, it's not the last one, it's the same one. A man can't breathe. See, a man's nose, you can't make your nose get strong. It doesn't have muscles. It only has cartilage. If you break a man's nose, it tends to make them really hurt, and they don't want to do anything. But, like I said about the balls kick, men can get their nose broken and still get even more violent. Run right through that broken nose, not know their shit's broken, and they're going to pummel you even harder now because the adrenaline and the anger is all there now. Now they really want to pummel you. So this is where the first video is usually why I say that stuff of non-lethal and walk away. It's just a car. It's just your wallet. You have insurance. But there are many women that don't get that blessing of a maniac that just wants their stuff. Some maniacs want you. They want to beat you and grind you in the dust. It's getting fucking weird out here. So, in those emergencies, that's when you take the old wolf guard technique of throat, nuts, nose. See, when you kick a man's groin, the first thing he does is gasp for air. He can't breathe. And when he gets, when he goes down to kneel down, you can grab his head very easily because now he's positioned for your tiger knee to his fucking nose. And you pull his head down and you knee him. You get it? And then you break his fucking nose. And then what's he do? He tries to breathe even harder, but now there's liquid. Now he's breathing his own blood. You get it? But a man can, still fight back. But now that there's blood gushing from his nose and teared up eyes, it's going to be harder for him to grab onto that. Well, unless you're really close still, like an idiot, and you haven't performed all three of these moves within 2 seconds. So you got to be fast. Throat nuts nose. You know what I mean? And ain't no man gonna just not see it coming if you ain't quick. So I suggest you train on it. You don't need to know how to box and all this other shit when you're doing what Bruce Lee said. When you got a headlock on you, what do you do then? You pray? Huh? You do a maneuver and counteract the weight? No, bite the fucking arm, gouge the eye, grab his balls, and he's gonna let go. Or he's gonna break your fucking neck. Either way, he was going to do that anyway, so your odds are 50-50. Anyway, I don't know how long the Wolf Guard has to be on all this shit. And I definitely know I was always meant to protect women in a certain way. And I've given weaker men these tips because, all of us are not fighters. And there sure is a lot of men that like to bully people around. And, the world just sits there and watches you get it. And then when you fight back, you're crazy and shit, So protect yourself. And, I keep telling women and men, a lot of these maniacs, you develop the pursuit before it actually happens, some of us. So you put them on fucking camera. And then, when the time comes, they do some things. It's like I be trying to tell women, like, when a man is I guess like a boyfriend or some shit, or maybe a man that you're messing with or whatever, because a lot of violence towards women is usually the boyfriends or some dude they're messing with. Random strangers just getting women all the time it's turning big, but it's not as big as as violence from knowing the person. Damn, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah. So you kind of know you are already in danger for a while. You just don't think the danger's gonna get that bad. And the one easiest way to make sure it doesn't get that bad is when they're talking that crazy shit, you videotape them. Some people get too out of control, and they allow their egos to make them think they're a badass. Make them think they can say things that if a courtroom scene, they will lock your ass up. You're holding a hostage type shit, dog. You're doing federal crimes with your mouth. Talking about you ain't going nowheres, and if you leave this house, you gonna what? Be a terrorist? Yeah? You're a terrorizer, huh? Okay. Now, a lot of men I feel sorry for because I'm a good man. I've been there where you love someone so bad, you know you can't keep her. You know that she's yours, but she's not yours. And majority of men, niggas is there. They're waiting to steal what's yours. And it breaks you, and it makes you fucking mad inside. And you're like, I can't do anything to them. Look like an asshole. So I'm gonna be a dummy, and maybe I can threaten her, and you're gonna break my family up, and I got crazy. See, I've seen men do this. I've actually was a youngster, teenager that tried that bullshit and didn't realize how pathetic I actually was. I hurt myself or something. I've heard it all. I'm gonna go crazy if you fucking leave me. You know what I mean? I've said that. And then they leave, walk out anyway, and you're like, damn, she called my bluff. And I ain't going to jail. I ain't breaking up my shit. You know what I mean? Like, nah, she got my bluff. You know what I mean? But there's other men, they're not fucking playing. You know what I mean? They don't know what else to do. They're not really willing to lose the woman. Some good men actually play bad guy, thinking like, all I need to do is scare her for a little bit, and then I could be a man, and I'm be good again, and I'm gonna do all the right things, and then she'll love me again, because she'll see that I just fucked up, and look, I understand that you were the one, and I'm losing you, you know? I ain't had no day to tell me, nigga, don't be acting the fuck up, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It'd be crazy how so many people, like how it leads to this. So, for the good men, you know, the times are changing where you're not allowed to do those bluffs no more. And when they show these videos, even though you wouldn't have did anything, you still look like a maniac. So I suggest you, learn not to actually put your hands on anybody and shit like that. But for the ladies, just be safe. Just be safe, All love, all praise to the Most High.